What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sustain. You need to go to sleep, little girl. Welcome back to Sustained Overruled. This is the anonymous attorney. All right, so what is this? Today is what, the second, I think? Yeah, today's the second. Okay, so we're changing course. Okay, I love to gossip, but you need to stop. Uh, I love to gossip, but the focus here is really on substantive cases. So we are about, my math is going to be up, but I think it's about 18 or 19 days away from my junior co-counsel needs to be asleep. Okay. We are a few weeks away from the Jackie Johnson trial. Okay. It is slated for January 21st, unless anything changed. But the last time I checked, trial was to begin, or at least jury selection was slated for January 21st of 2025. All right. And then what's interesting, it's not exactly interesting because attorneys do this all the time, but Jackie Johnson is represented by Brian Steele. Okay. That is, what's his name again? That's Young Thug's criminal defense attorney. Okay. That's who represented Young Thug in the YSL trial. And obviously, the YSL trial, or at least as far as Young Thug is concerned, he took a plea deal, ended up with, I don't know, a pretty lengthy probation sentence. Let's put it that way. So, in order to get some background on Jackie Johnson, we are going to, grab a sound bite from Court TV. So let's quickly go over to Court TV. One moment. All right.
Former district attorney of Brunswick, Georgia, has now been indicted for on the Ahmaud Arbery investigation. The former district attorney of Brunswick, Georgia, has now been.
As the days go on, I wish I had room on my computer. I don't have room, so I really don't have space to edit. That's why I have to stick to the lives until, I don't know, probably 2 weeks or so. Then my man's gonna hook me up. He's gonna hook me up. He's gonna do something to my system here in order for it to run smoothly. But I'm completely out of space, so I don't quite have room to edit videos. But I do want to let me see. It's not going to be next weekend. Maybe next weekend. I think next weekend would be a good weekend for me to create. I'm going to get a NAS, okay? But I need to, you guys know I don't know much about computers. So he's going to configure the whole thing for me, and then we'll put everything in motion. But for now, we're going to have to stick to these lives until I have the capability to edit. I could edit. In theory, I could edit, but I have way too many videos. I have too many unedited videos that I do not want to delete. So that's why I'm not touching anything on my drive right now. And I have a bunch of I wanted to say thumbtack. I think they're called thumb drives. I have several of those with a bunch of videos from over a year ago. These go all the way back to Alec, what's his name? Alec Murdaugh, right? And I have a lot of content. I just don't always have time to edit. But okay, let's get into this. We're gonna do some background. But as the week goes on, as the week has come to an end. But you okay? As the week progresses, we are certainly going to hone in on this one specific case.
Indicted for misconduct in connections to her actions surrounding the case. Arbery was jogging when three men confronted him and chased him down in a subdivision in Brunswick, Georgia. Gregory McMichael, his son Travis McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan were indicted on federal hate crime charges earlier this year in connection with Arbery's death back in 2020. Police did not charge any of them immediately following the shooting. After Arbery was shot, Gregory McMichael called the former district attorney, his old boss of Brunswick, Jackie Johnson.
I actually need to look up this place on a map. I did not look it up. I need to look it up on a map because I need to, orient. I need to situate myself.
Jackie, this is Greg. Can you call me as soon as you possibly
And
can?
this is not to say that this is where Greg McMichael messed up. He should have called a defense attorney. Call a defense attorney. Call somebody that, you know, could possibly have, or somebody that can potentially invoke attorney client privilege. Instead, I mean, it's obvious. It's pretty obvious why he called Jackie, because after he called her, I mean, she's alleged to have interfered in their arrest, because if my timeline is right, if I have my numbers right, these folks were basically roaming around the streets for at least 2 weeks or something along those lines.
And we're my friend and I have been involved in
What's up, Brooklyn? How you doing? Did you have, I don't know, you work remotely sometimes, so did you have a good Thursday?
the shooting, and I need some advice right away. If you can please call me
That is not your attorney. What do you mean by advice? You guys, my kid is defiant. She needs to go to sleep.
as soon as you possibly can. Thank you. Bye.
Now, a record of Gregory McMichael's cell phone calls does not show that Johnson, the DA at the time, actually called him back. According to
It
a
doesn't
release
matter.
from Georgia's Attorney General, the former Brunswick DA, Jackie Johnson, has been indicted on 2 charges: violation of oath of a public officer
Okay.
and obstruction of a police officer. Johnson is also accused of violating her district attorney.
So we're going to have to look. We're going to have to zero in on those 2 counts and look at what the potential penalty looks like.
Oath.
But again, that's not something we're doing, in this one live. We have a long way to go with this. We have a long way to go with this case. Again, I believe the trial is set for January 21st. That should be the trial date, unless their new, what is this, developments over the last few days.
By quote, showing favor and affection to Greg McMichael during the investigation.
Dang, Brooklyn is off until Monday. Lucky you. That's fantastic. Well, I went to work today. When I went to work, it felt like a continuation of 2024. Okay. Because I don't know, it just felt like a regular day of work. But I'm glad that you have some time off. Hopefully, you're spending that, with your loved ones. What's up, Jazzy Jazz? So, we're talking about your people out there in Georgia.
The attorney for the Ahmaud Arbery family had this reaction to the indictment.
I was surprised because it's unprecedented. I've never seen a prosecutor who failed to bring charges, who helped actively participate in the
Right.
cover up of misconduct, indicted criminally themselves. What this means for us first is a signaling to other prosecutors that if they are not forthcoming with the evidence, if they somehow
And I mean, we have to remember that the Aubrey case had received a lot of, or it had garnered a lot of national attention at the time.
participate or put their finger on the scale of justice, that they can face consequences themselves.
That's Lee Merritt. A state trial for the 3 suspects is scheduled to start in mid-October.
Okay, so obviously, let me see, when was this video? This girl needs to go to sleep. This video is from 3 years ago. These folks were, they were the 3 individuals, the father, the son, the neighbor. They were eventually all convicted. I believe that they were sentenced to life sentences, if I'm not mistaken. They are serving life sentences at the moment. And as we as we move closer to the actual trial date, which is January 21st, we are going to take a look at some of the I love trials. So we're going to have to take a look at some of the trial proceedings in that case.
October. Here is a look now back at some of the other phone calls that Gregory Michael made after Ahmaud
But
Arbery's
it's
death
Michelson
in
or
2000.
Mac Michelson.
I have been filleted and laid out as a sacrificial lamb. It's
Okay, so these are, I don't know why this little girl is not asleep. I really did not know. About 30 minutes ago, she was literally flailing, flailing around, telling me how much energy she has. But she needs to go to
it's all
sleep.
political.
That is Greg McMichael talking to his brother on a recorded.
It's all
Hold on,
political.
let's go back.
Filleted and laid out as a sacrificial lamb. It's all political.
Sir,
That is Greg McMichael talking to his brother on a recorded jailhouse call.
This narrative that we just
and
shut
what's
up.
going to be interesting, because this Core TV video, I do not believe I've watched this. But as we get into the facts of the charges, obviously we're going to separate the Jackie Johnson case from this McMichelson charges, right? Because they are kind of the catalyst to her they are the catalyst to the charges that she is facing. But as we start to look at a lot of the evidence in the McMichelson, I think the last name is McMichelson. I can look it up though. But as we start to take a closer look at the facts surrounding those charges, I mean, even some of the body camera footage is pretty disturbing because from the onset, law enforcement did not treat these convicts as suspects, or I mean, let me just stick to suspects because they were not charged with anything at the time. But it appeared more to be a community of sort where they pretty much gave these folks deference despite the fact that they had just, they literally gunned somebody down in cold blood.
Black kids running through a white neighborhood. It's absolutely.
I mean, and I don't know. Let me just go back. Let's listen to that phone call or that recorded call from the very beginning.
The jailhouse call.
This narrative that we just shot a black kid for running through a white neighborhood. It's absolutely.
Defense attorneys want all of Greg and Travis McMichael's jailhouse conversations with family and friends excluded from trial, saying it would violate their due process rights.
Okay, Brooklyn, are you referring to Jackie Johnson or the so their last name is actually McMichael. Why did I think he was McMichelson? Are you referring to the charges against Jackie Johnson? I don't know why I keep calling her Jackson. Jackie Johnson or the McMichael? I wanted to say McMichelson. Are you referring to, the three individuals that were convicted for Aubrey's demise, or are you referring to Jackie Johnson?
You've heard the old saying, "No good deed goes unpunished."
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's it. That's a shining example right there.
Yeah, that's right.
The defense says
Lack of
prosecutors will
accountability.
argue the good deed Greg McMichael had in mind was the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. But in a motion, they contend what Greg actually had in mind was the, quote, attempt to conduct a private person's arrest of Arbery. So police could
And even this Greg individual, a very shady character, a really shady character, will eventually get into his background and history, but really shady
investigate
man.
whether Arbery was responsible for a string of neighborhood burglaries. In a later call to his wife, Greg McMichael gets angry discussing his daughter's social media post, which showed a photo of Ahmaud Arbery's dead body.
She has got to stop
She will.
and get rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
Make it disappear. Make it go away. Because people
Yeah.
And that's not even speaking in
It's not.
code.
It's liable to really screw us up.
That phone call was brought up by the prosecution at the McMichael's bond
Hold on, I
hearing.
need to
We
change
had talked
location, you
about
guys.
the social media post by your daughter, Lindsay. That post was actually made with a picture of the crime scene while she was under your roof. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay. This becomes significant because of some of the cross-examination of Lee McMichael regarding jail calls that are captured regarding Greg McMichael actively attempting to obstruct the investigation of this case.
Many of the phone calls that Travis McMichael makes in jail are to his friend Zach, who also testified on the McMichaels' behalf during the bond hearing.
Y'all close? You and Travis?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Okay. How close would you say that you are?
He's my best friend.
On the
Okay,
phone,
so
Travis-
Brooklyn said on okay, so you're interested in the charges against Brian Steele's client, okay? Jackie Johnson. I don't know why I keep calling her Jackie Jackson. But so she is charged with 2 counts. The first count is violating her oath of office at the time that she allegedly interfered or hindered a obstructed justice. She was the district attorney, not assistant, she was the main person, okay? She was the district attorney for the Brunswick in Georgia. What do they call it? County, I suppose. Okay, so she's charged with violating her oath of office and hindering police. Those are the charges. Okay, so what's up, Jason? So Jason says Brooklyn, Steele, and Adams are defending the DA. Former DA. That's correct.
Tells his friend what matters most to him.
So I'm just praying that I get a bond, where I can get out of here and raise my boy and really be able to put it
That's
nose
crazy.
to the ground for him.
Travis said,
Let me leave it alone. No, I'm not going to leave it alone, actually, because he's been convicted. So I can say whatever it is I want to say. He is so concerned with being, getting a bond in order for him to raise his boy or his son or whatever, when he literally just shot down another individual's kid in cold blood.
And his mother talk about how big the case has become.
So I guess his life was not as valuable. It's not worth consideration.
lies ahead.
Sounds like.
This is going to be a trial with the TV station with OJ, like an OJ Simpson trial.
Oh my God.
But that's a good thing because they're going to see facts that's not there that they haven't seen.
What boils down to is 12 people going to decide what's what.
Right, exactly.
It'll be a long process, though.
All right, let's bring back criminal defense.
I'm sorry if I'm really harsh in this. If I'm really harsh as far as this case is concerned, it's because I'm very upset. All right, so we have Jason showing me some love, and Happy New Year, Jason. I'm with Brooklyn on that one. Happy New Year.
Attorney Josh Schiffer. Josh, let's first talk about your reaction to Jackie Johnson, the DA, being indicted. This just does not happen.
Well, as a civil rights practitioner and criminal defense attorney, I'm thrilled. I love it when the state is going to go inquire within, charge, and pursue one of our watchers when they didn't do their job right. I think that's an important factor in responsible government. However, there's a giant question.
And one thing you'll notice about me, I tend to be more critical of attorneys than I am of ordinary citizens. So in this case, sure, Jackie Johnson, absolutely, she is clothed in the presumption of innocence and the like, but her alleged behavior is inexcusable.
Right now, this news broke last night, and as I get up this morning talking with other local lawyers in the community, now the question is whether these indictments brought by the elected Attorney General of Georgia, Mr. Carr, whether these are really.
And then I've been trying to find the actual hearing, the video, because I know that as it was happening, it was sometime in December. I watched it live. I just cannot find. I've found snippets, right? I've found snippets of what's his name again? Brian Steele's argument. I've also found I just cannot find the entire what is this? The entire hearing or the proceedings. So I'm still trying to find that in the background.
The most effective indictments to prosecute, or is this some sort of political sandbagging, which is an issue that we've been dealing with here recently in our nation with when we go and prosecute police officers, other members of public agencies, public officials. Are the prosecutors going after those people with the same gusto that they would go up against a regular citizen or a business person or an alleged criminal? Or are they taking an easy way out? If the state doesn't charge you properly, if they don't come against you in the same way they would come against someone else in your community.
All right, so Brooklyn, I'm just going to add, okay, as far as the charges that Johnson is facing, okay, the first, which is violating her oath of office, she's accused of directing officers not to arrest Travis McMichael, the son of the former investigator Greg McMichael, and McMichael worked for he worked for the district attorney's office, so he worked directly under Johnson for a significant amount of time. Okay, I believe it was sometime over a decade. All right, and again, if you tuned in from the very beginning, that was Greg McMichael had called Jackie Johnson, and apparently. I don't know why he called her. He should have called a defense attorney, a criminal defense attorney. That's who he should have called. And then the second count of hindering police, Johnson is accused of interfering with the investigation into Aubrey's death. So those are the charges. And then she's also accused of choosing the district attorney who would investigate Aubrey's murder after declaring a conflict of interest in the case. So she had an obvious conflict of interest because this Greg McMichael person worked under her. And I mean, he also reached out to her immediately after. And once there's a conflict, she should have let things go. I don't know why she decided to, mess up her career or even hinder allegedly an investigation. It makes no sense to me. Poor judgment.
Isn't that a form of favoritism? Isn't that something that needs to be examined? So there is a legitimate worry among many people in Georgia that this.
And then as far as possible penalties, she could face up to 5 years in prison if she's convicted of violating her oath of office.
Prosecution isn't fully legitimate, and that is partially for show, and that this is a political football that is flaming hot, nuclear hot, and it's going to burn everyone's hands that touches it. So the attorney general is stepping back and saying, all right, how am I going to handle this? It's going to be fascinating.
Fascinating indeed. Here's Lee Merritt, the attorney representing the family of Ahmaud Arbery. We heard from him before. Here he's talking more specifics about Jackie Johnson.
With regard to Jackie Johnson, what was presented to the grand jury was first evidence that Jackie Johnson had a relationship with Gregory McMichael, the father of the shooter, Travis McMichael, that immediately became involved in the case. The first phone call that Gregory McMichael made from the scene of the shooting was to Jackie Johnson saying, I'm in trouble and I need help.
And
instead of opting out and saying that she had a conflict, she called the subsequent prosecutor, George Barnhill, and began to discuss and get his advice on the case before ultimately referring the case over to him without disclosing to anyone that she had referenced him for this case or that he too had a conflict concerning Gregory McMichael. And so the prosecution will show that she violated her oath of office, that Ahmaud Arbery and his family wasn't given a fair shake at justice from the beginning because she put her thumb in the scale by using relationships that she had developed over time.
Josh, this case was interesting in the aftermath of Ahmaud Arbery's shooting. No charges were filed until that viral video was released. When the general public saw what Ahmaud Arbery endured in the last moments of his life, that is when the outcry was through the roof. His family was asking for answers, first with Jackie Johnson, then George Barnhill, and then Barnhill would kick it down the road as well to a third DA in this case, and nobody wanted to press charges. They had seen the video. The video was offered up immediately. Roddy Bryant says, I got it all on video. Greg McMichael says, Roddy's got it all on video. So the investigators on the scene saw the video. The DA number 1 saw the video. DA number 2, Barnhill, sees the video. 3 sees the video. It's not until the public sees the video that anything is done.
Right.
So your this flaming hot football you're speaking of, is there a chance that it gets passed to another one of the individuals involved in the decision-making process during the time period before the public saw the viral video?
Oh, the investigation into this is not done by any means. Part of the superior prosecuting actions now being brought by the Attorney General's office, it is going to be a review that is a little bit more independent than any review being done locally or on the scene. And that's part of the checks and balances. The question really gets back down to the age-old query of, if a tree falls in the woods and no one is there to hear it, did it really fall? Does anybody know or care? And that's what you just said. Until the public, the real arbiters, saw this horrific death, no one was going to do anything.
Right.
So
that's
is
what's
it a
problematic.
murder until someone calls it a murder? That's a really tough question. And these are lifetime law enforcement members. These aren't people new to the game. If they're doing it here, how does that speak to the legitimacy of the rest of a criminal system that, face it, we've been struggling here for the last couple of decades. Our system's the best system in the world, but it is by no means perfect. It is an aspirational goal to do more and better justice, and holding the dispensers and arbiters of justice responsible.
All right, so we're going to stop there. I wanted to move on to the sentencing. Yeah, I wanted to move on to the sentencing of the 3 defendants. But before we do that, you guys know I'm always getting distracted. I'm always getting distracted. So let's quickly, let me see. All right, let's, let me make up my mind. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, let's go here.
Did you at all get him to draw a map of Secure Shores for you to kind of explain what he was doing?
We use Google Maps, and then
Audio is terrible. Hold on.
Let me start with this statement.
All right.
As we all now know, based upon the verdict that was rendered in this court in November, Ahmaud Arbery was murdered.
Right.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy on many, many levels. On February 23rd of 2020, almost 2 years ago, a resident of Glenn County.
And if you've sent me, I don't know, a comment or whatever, I've not read comments in a week, you guys. I apologize. I have like over 70 or something that I have to take a look at. I'll eventually get to it.
A graduate of Brunswick High, a son, a brother, a young man with dreams, was gunned down in this community. As we understand it, he left his home apparently to go for a run, and he ended up running for his life. He entered the English home at approximately 1:04 p.m. and left that home at about 1:08 on that day. At 1:14, Greg McMichael calls 911 to let them know that there's a black male running down the street. And within moments, Ahmaud Arbery is shot and killed. The 3 men that are now before this court chased him in a residential neighborhood for at least 5 minutes in pickup trucks, armed with a shotgun and a .357 revolver. The state mentioned this today about the time period, but I do want to put that time period in context. And the only way I could think to do so may be a little theatrical, but I think it's appropriate. I want us all to get a concept of time. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit silently for 1 minute.
We're going to have to fast forward.
1 minute. Represents.
It is a tragic case.
A fraction of the time that Ahmaud Arbery was running in Steele Shores.
Mm.
That occurred. Again, the chase that occurred in Steele Shores occurred over about a 5-minute period. And when I thought about this, I thought from a lot of different angles, and I kept coming back to the terror that must have been in the mind of the young man running through Steele Shores. The jury heard the evidence and returned a verdict. And what a difficult job they had under the circumstances. Without any comment on the verdict itself, I think all counsel will agree and accept that this was a very difficult case to even get a jury impaneled on. And there are issues out there with regard to the jury that were brought up in the press and elsewhere. But I want to give credit to those members of the panel, not because of their verdict, just because of the fact that they were willing to go through the process that they went through with the state.
Okay, so I had to take a look. I had to take a look at the racial demographics in Brunswick, Georgia. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, I know how accurate this stuff is. You know how the internet works, but again, this is a census from, or at least this is from a 2020 report. Okay, so the racial makeup of Brunswick, at least at the time in 2020, was 33% white, 54 black, 2 Asian, and then 2% 2 or more other races. So I guess that's bi and multi-racial.
With the defense and with this court. We're here today to sentence the defendants. In discharging the duty, this court is required to consider all mitigating and aggravating circumstances.
All right.
The court has considered those circumstances, including but not limited to all aspects of the crimes charged, the past criminal record or lack thereof of the defendants. I've also considered any lawful evidence which tends to show the motive of the defendants, their lack of remorse, their general moral character, and any predisposition to commit other crimes. Now, I think in this case, the record speaks for itself, and the defendant's own words, I think, guide this court with regard to sentencing. Went back through my notes and other resources to pull some of the quotes that we have in this case. I'll start with Greg McMichael. In my opinion, Greg McMichael, very early on in this, tried to establish a narrative.
Right.
He made comments like, Ahmaud Arbery was trapped like a rat.
Mm.
Stop or I'll blow your, and I won't repeat it again, head off. He effectively admitted that he wasn't sure what Ahmaud Arbery had done wrong. Quote, I don't think the guy has actually stolen anything out there, or if he did, it was early in the process.
I do not even know that, stealing property should, not even that I don't know. I know for a fact that even if it had been the case that Ahmaud had stolen property, which he did not, that should not amount to a death sentence.
But he keeps going back over and over again into this damn house. Again, back to the narrative. Told Travis, you have no choice.
We're going to take a look at some pretty interesting comments here in a little bit.
Told another individual at the side or at the scene, this guy ain't no shuffler. This guy's an asshole. Commented that he wanted him, Ahmaud Arbery, to know that we weren't playing. If I could have gotten a shot at the guy, I would have shot him. Travis McMichael claims he was in shock.
That's a son.
But it's interesting because he talks about his concern for his child and his own well-being.
Right.
Part of this was while the victim was actually laying there in the street. Commented, this is the worst day of my life. Well, I think it's been touched on here today. There were other individuals that were impacted. I look at the video of this incident. When I say the video, I think everybody knows what we're talking about, but there was one part of it that struck me as absolutely chilling. And that is, I believe it's in the enhanced video provided by the GBI. There's a frame where I believe Ahmaud Arbery, it looks to be, if he's 20 yards out, that may be close, 30 yards out. And it's the frame of Travis McMichael lifting the shotgun
Mm.
to fire at Ahmaud Arbery. And you watch that with context. And when I say context, after hearing the evidence in this case, again, thinking about a young man that had been running at that point for almost 5 minutes, and it is a truly.
Hey, what's up, Allie? What's up, junior co-counsel? Hopefully, I don't know, it might be actually much earlier for you. I had a hard time getting my co-counsel out here to go to sleep. I literally had to change locations. But yeah, thanks for joining.
Truly disturbing scene.
And Allie, I don't know if you're in the bushes or if you are just joining, but if you're just joining, the next case we are moving on to is the Jackie Johnson case. This was recommended by Real Thing. You know how much I love Real Thing. So I obliged. Yeah, so this is the Jackie Johnson case. Trial begins January 21st. It's again state of Georgia. Um, she's charged with 2 counts. If Yeah, I don't think I'm mistaken about that. She's charged with 2 counts. She was the district attorney of Brunswick County. I think it's called a county. I don't know. I've only been to Georgia once, and I was in Fulton County. So I guess it's called a county. But yeah, so she was the district attorney at the time of Ahmaud Arbery's death. One of the convicts in this case, I'm going to go with convicts because they have been sentenced to life, was a former investigator of hers. And the allegations are that she meddled in Travis McMichael's arrest. And I mean, she's accused of other things, but that's where we're stopping.
And we got there because Travis McMichael's father.
Right. So the trial is January 21st. The days leading up to, or at least the weeks leading up to the trial, we're just trying to gather enough, enough background information so that everybody's up to speed.
Saw Ahmaud Arbery hauling down the street and calls out, "Let's go." At that point, Travis McMichael, despite whatever may have been going on in his life at that time, with regard to family or otherwise, just goes, grabs a shotgun and goes because he assumes that it is the right thing to do. Ahmaud Arbery was then hunted down and shot. And he was killed because individuals here in this courtroom took the law into their own hands. Mr. Bryan, he joined in after calling out to the McMichaels. Y'all got him?
That's a neighbor.
Claimed he didn't know what was going on, but obviously wanted to know if this individual who was running through the neighborhood, who he didn't know,
Right.
had been caught in some way. Said, quote, "I figured he'd done something wrong, but I didn't know for sure." Or that wasn't actually this quote. Those quotes are 2 separate quotes. Didn't know for sure. "I thought he would get away." And this is the part that is disturbing to me with Roddy Bryan. If the guy would have stopped, this would have never happened.
That's insane.
All of these quotes give context, I think, to the video that we saw during the case. And Miss Wanda Cooper-Jones this morning made a statement that I think, when you look at these statements and you see the videos, is very true. And that is, she said, when they could not scare or intimidate him, they killed him.
Right.
There's been discussion about remorse. And I agree with counsel that it is dangerous for defendants who have multiple prosecutions against them to make statements of remorse.
Right.
But remorse isn't something that is simply a statement of regret. Remorse, I think, can be determined by.
All right, Allie, I'll take a look at my email. You know, I do a terrible job of reading email. Maybe if I had it on my phone, but I also don't want to mix stuff up because I know I have my work email on my phone, but I'll take a look at it.
Looking at somebody,
and you're welcome.
His reaction to difficult circumstances and the reality of the situation that they're in. Again, it doesn't require an apology, and quite Honestly, sometimes apologies are made simply to get past problems. Remorse is something that's felt and demonstrated. In this case, getting back to the video, again, after
I mean, this was a very difficult it's a difficult case for me, and I've said over and over again, there's certain cases that are difficult for me to cover, but because Jackie Johnson is, you know, an attorney, I guess she is kind of free game. So we definitely will be following the
when
trial.
Ahmaud Arbery fell, the McMichaels turned their backs. It's again a disturbing image, and they walked away. This was a killing. It was callous,
Right.
and it occurred, as far as the court is concerned, based upon the evidence, because confrontation was being sought. I think the statement was made during closing arguments. It's interesting to note that the most violent crime in Steele Shores.
Okay, I think we do have enough time to not tonight. I'm working in the morning. But between now and the trial date, we do have sufficient time to, you know, listen to and dissect the opening and closing arguments for the McMichael trial.
Was the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. So sentencing does not generally provide closure. I think Ms. Wanda Cooper-Jones also talked about closure, but I don't find that it really does. And I think that's an unfortunate thing, because in this case, I think many people are seeking closure. The mother, the father, the community,
The family,
and maybe even parts of the nation. But closure is hard to define and is a granular concept.
I need to
It's seen
find out this
differently by all,
judge's
depending
name.
on their perspective and the prism of your lives. Instead of closure, maybe
Oh, sorry.
we best see today's proceeding as an exercise in accountability. We are all accountable for our own actions. Sometimes in today's day and age, that statement is lost upon many.
All right.
And today, the defendants are being held accountable for their actions here in Superior Court. Today demonstrates that everybody is accountable to the rule of law. Taking the law into your own hands is a dangerous endeavor. I'm not sure how this comes across. I'll say it anyway. I think ultimately, with regard to the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, it holds us all accountable. I've read somewhere, and I don't remember where it was, that at a minimum, Ahmaud Arbery's death should force us to consider expanding our definition of what a neighbor may be and how we treat them. I argue that maybe a neighbor is more than the people who just own property around your house. I also believe that in assuming the worst in others, we show our worst character.
Right.
Assuming the best in others is always the best course of action. And maybe those are the grand lessons from this case. I will let others spend as much time as they want writing about it and talking about it. But those are my general thoughts with regard to this case and sentencing.
I'm gonna look up this judge. Hold on. I want to switch quickly. There's another video. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to do this on my own time. Hold on. All right. So there's a video with some pretty interesting comments. You guys know I like looking at comments. So let me just get it on here. Hold on. It's called believes. I don't know. Now I'm getting distracted. She's pregnant for 3 years. now I'm getting distracted. YouTube knows how to get me. Hold on. Unfinished house. Let's see. Does a video pop up? All right. The videos or the comments. This one or this one? Oh, that's loud. The comments in this video are pretty.
I believe it was the one on the.
So we're gonna let this witness testify, and then we're gonna take a look.
In there, yeah, that one, the left one. I think that's the right one.
Now, when we take a look at State's Exhibit 114, and we see this right here, had that bolt been there before?
No.
Now, when you're over on Sunday, where do you and your son and your parents generally congregate?
We usually stay in the back of the house in the family room because there's glass doors back there. It looks over the river, so we spend most of the time back there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ever any time here in this front room?
Sometimes we would go in that room. I play music. I play guitar and sing, and my mom does too. So sometimes we would go in that room and sing and play. So Dad could watch the TV, and we wouldn't bother him.
Right. So what I want to ask you now is, at some point in time prior to February 23rd of 2020, do you recall ever seeing a young man at the construction site that's on the way to your parents' house?
Yes, I do recall that. I'm not exactly sure when it was, if it was maybe.
All right. And for context, if I'm not mistaken, this witness was called as a defense witness.
December or January. I'm not really sure exactly when it was, but I do remember driving by, and I believe it was a Sunday as usual, afternoon. It was still light outside. And I looked over and I saw someone in the door frame. There wasn't a door there. And he was just standing in the door frame, and we just kind of looked at each other as I drove by.
And was this young man white, black, Asian, or Hispanic?
He was a black man. He was very tall. You want me to keep going?
Well,
describe him?
Sure, go ahead and give the jury description.
He, from what I remember, he had I guess they were like basketball shorts on, and I believe high top sneakers and a t-shirt. And yeah, he looked very tall. I remember thinking that because of the door frame, where the location of it over his head.
Do you remember what kind of hair he had?
Hair, I don't remember exactly. I think it was fairly short, maybe a little, I guess, medium length. It's fuzzy, but yeah.
So you were driving your car.
Mm-hmm.
It was still light out.
Right.
Okay. Any idea what time? I mean, you're talking January, December?
Yeah. It was, so it probably was getting darker at that time. So it must have been maybe 4 or 5, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still light out?
Still light out. Yeah. Not real bright, but it was definitely light out.
Okay. Now, to kind of pin this down, do you remember if it was before Christmas or after Christmas?
That's a good question. I wish I could remember, but I'm just not totally sure. I'm not sure. Yeah. Most likely after Christmas, because I feel like it was late December, early January. I'm not totally sure.
Okay. And I'm going to show you 126. Would that help with where you're standing?
Right. It was in that door on the right side there, I believe. Yeah.
I'm going to go and put it up there so we can.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
All right. So let's look at States 126. So I'm just going to point. Was it this door?
Right. That door right there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you drove by, did you make eye contact with him?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any waving or saying hi or anything?
No.
Okay.
I remember having a dialogue in my head. Should I tell you about that? Like just what I thought. I thought I was driving by and I thought, what is he doing in there? And then I thought, no, Kelly, don't be racist. He's probably working on the house. And then I thought, well,
so sorry. So this don't be racist. I mean, she just goes on to make very racist assumptions. So she is assuming that a black individual in this neighborhood has no other purpose than to be working on a house. Not that he could, this possibly a new construction, something he's interested in, a potential buyer. She has reduced an individual she does not know to a construction worker. Okay. So, I mean, I need to go back. Those people are fucking ridiculous. But let's go back. Completely insane.
And when you drove by, did you make eye contact with
And
him?
here's the thing with the defense attorney. Okay. The defense attorney, even as the witness, you know, is not sure if she should proceed in saying what she was thinking or maybe her true feelings, right? The defense attorney should not have allowed, this is me playing devil's advocate. You guys know, you guys know that I used to be a public defender, but the defense attorney should not have allowed this witness to utter testimony she was not sure of, because I don't even think that she knew this is what was going to come out of her mouth.
I did.
Okay.
That
Was
girl
it this
gets in a
door?
way.
Right, that door right there.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
And when you drove by, did you make eye contact with him?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any waving or saying hi or
No,
anything?
no.
Okay.
I remember having a dialogue in my head. Should I tell you about that? Like just what I thought.
She's encouraged. Hold on, I need to zoom in here. She basically says, "Go ahead." Like, how are you gonna tell this woman to go? I don't know.
I thought I was driving by and I thought, what is he doing in there? And then I thought, no, Kelly, don't be racist. He's probably working on the house.
That's
and then
insane.
I thought, well, no, he doesn't have a tool belt on. So I wonder what he's doing there, just the whole thing. So we were just looking at each other and I wasn't really sure. And I just, kept driving. So, but that was like a split second thought process in my head, like 1 or 2 seconds. So
Now, I would hate to think that way. That
yeah,
I mean,
but no real, he didn't like hide or anything. He was just looking at me. So
Okay, so tell me about that. So his reaction, he makes eye contact with you. And what does he do?
yeah, he just looks at me.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt like, I guess I could have waved, but I didn't.
What
Did
did he
he
wave?
try and duck inside?
No, just looking.
Did he run away?
No,
Just stood there.
just stood there. Mm-hmm.
And you were interviewed, I just want to make sure, on May 7th, 2020.
What a sad way to live. But in any event, let's take a look at some of these comments. Like, I don't mess around with folks' neighborhoods like that. Like, I just nope. I go home and stay about my business. But from what I gathered from the comment section, apparently a lot of folks do walk around construction sites, like homes that are under construction. They pretty much go looking into these homes and then they walk through construction sites. And a lot of folks after this carnage that was perpetrated on this young man, they have stopped doing it. Okay. And then definitely with Bianca, a black man in this neighborhood was a big deal. Let's see, but I mean, we're not gonna go through all these comments, but it turns out that and even from a retired electrician, civilians walking around construction sites evenings and weekends was apparently or is the norm. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know, but that was a strange testimony, cringe-worthy testimony, racist testimony. Let's see. Okay, Brooklyn always has some words. Brooklyn says people are nosy and want to see what their what neighbors put in their houses. I um, I just this was a very troubling it was a troubling trial. It was a troubling trial, and the underlying facts that led to the need for a trial were even worse. But let's quickly go to Brian Steele. Okay, let's go to Brian Steele. Ooh. There's a hearing from December of 2024. I don't think it's gonna pop up here, but okay, 3 weeks ago. I want the actual hearing itself. Hold on. I'm probably going to have to look it up on my phone. Ooh, I thought I saw somebody that looked like Shard. Never mind. All right, hold on.
After being indicted.
I have to find. Yeah, let me find the actual. Let me find the video on my phone. Oh, here. No, that's just a short clip. That's not it. Anyways, let's
By a
play
grand
that
jury
while
in
I find it on my
2021,
phone.
former Brunswick District Attorney Jackie Johnson was in court today ahead of her January trial.
Johnson is charged with interfering with the 2020 police investigation of the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. She's accused of using her power as a high-profile prosecutor in Glenn County to help Greg McMichael and his son.
Okay, so it's called Glenn County. The city, I guess, is Brunswick. So you guys know I don't know anything about Georgia. I know a few things about Georgia. I know that Atlanta, Georgia is not a real place. So
Travis McMichael, who are both now serving life sentences. Our Christina Burgess is joining us right now. And Christina, let's talk about what happened in court today.
Yeah, guys. Well,
all right, so let's find the date. Okay, December 11th.
Both the prosecution and defense argued about what evidence they want to be used in the January trial. They disagreed about the use of Jackie Johnson's past prosecutions, her status as a high-profile former prosecutor, and the attorney.
And based on the hearing, again, I could not find the actual video, but I'll go on 11 Alive and find December 11, 2024. But what I found, it's kind of obvious for most attorneys. A lot of attorneys have a set method, a set style of how they go about cases. What I've seen from Brian Steele as far as this Johnson case and the Weissel case is concerned, I think I've mentioned this before, but he tends to call or at least list the prosecutors as as defense witnesses. I don't exactly know. I need to see how that works because I do not know what he'd be trying to accomplish by doing that. Maybe I have to give it some more thought because I think that's a pretty odd strategy. But I don't know. Let me give it some more thought. But I've seen that again because I went on one of those court websites in Fulton County and I saw that he had listed Love. He had listed Love and Fonnie Willis and some other folks as what is this, defense witnesses. And in this case, in the Johnson case, he listed I think it was the AG, and I don't remember who else, but I don't know. I'll have to give it some more thought to try and figure out what exactly it is that he's trying to accomplish, because to me it's kind of odd.
General's involvement in this upcoming trial.
Former Brunswick District Attorney Jackie Johnson appeared in front of a
I don't know,
judge.
is Brunswick a county or is it a city? Now I'm confused.
For the first time since being charged by a grand jury in 2021. Johnson is accused of using her power to protect Greg McMichael and his son Travis McMichael by urging police not to arrest Travis after he fatally shot 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery in 2020. During Wednesday's hearing, the prosecution asked the judge to not allow the defense to use any of Jackie Johnson's high-profile cases or electoral successes in the trial. Her lead defense attorney, Brian Steele, pushing back.
There's no prejudice, and it's part of the life of Ms. Johnson, and we anticipate bringing in the fact that she was appointed by then Governor Sonny Perdue. We're not doing it for popularity. We're doing it because that's characteristics of her life.
In another...
Hold on. Let me think about that, because if I understand why the prosecution wants to, um, keep out some of the highlights of her career, right? The reason why they want that out is because obviously they do not want the water muddied. But even beyond that, they do not want the jurors to focus on anything other than her conduct, right? But I don't know, because if the defense highlights Johnson's good characters, if they open that door, then the prosecution could potentially, not even potentially, they could in theory bring in her bad acts. And in a moment here, we're going to take a look at one case that is we're going to take a look at the Ken Adkins case. Okay, so I don't know why. I guess I understand why a defense attorney would want to bring that in, but it could be problematic. They could be shooting themselves in the foot.
Other motion, Johnson's defense asked the judge to disqualify Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr, since he wants to call Carr as a witness in January.
I don't believe that it is within the law to allow a prosecutor or any lawyer to also be a witness, and it's a material witness in the case.
Okay, so this is forcing me to go take a closer look at. I really want to be done with that YSL trial, although there's a second round in February. I'm gonna have to take a closer look at that witness list, and I'm gonna dig in those archives to see if there was a ruling on Jeffrey calling Fani and Love. Those are the two names that I remember that were on that witness list.
The prosecution disagreed.
You can't just subpoena the constitutional officer and put them on the witness stand. There are certain protections to that.
Judge John R. Turner didn't issue any ruling in court Wednesday, but said he will have written orders on these motions by next week.
Okay, what's his name? I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know. I'll Google the judge's name and find that decision.
Jury selection for Johnson's trial is scheduled to start January 21st.
Okay, so it is the 21st. I thought I had my dates mixed up. But let's quickly move into hold on, there are two things I have to do. Hold on. I need to take a screenshot of this. So I'm gonna try and find the actual hearing itself. And then let's see. Why are they recommending Vibes Cartel? I wanted to make a video on him. but I don't know. Time is never on my side. Okay, into X. All right, let's take a look at Mr. Adkins. All right. Ooh, 24 minutes. Do we have 24 minutes? Probably not. Let's do 3. Hold on, oh no. All right, let's go. I'm getting distracted.
One day after former Brunswick District Attorney Jackie Johnson turned herself in to face misconduct charges in the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery, pastors and other community members are calling for an investigation of her handling of a previous case that she prosecuted.
It involves former Brunswick pastor Kenneth Adkins, who was tried and convicted 4 years ago of molesting 2 teens. He's serving a sentence of 35 years in prison.
We are demanding, we're asking, we're requesting.
Give me more information.
And this piece demands an investigation. Whether Jackie Johnson's conduct and Ken's conviction is another instance.
Okay, Jasmine, are you saying is Brunswick a town? Okay, so I guess, I don't know, Glen or whatever must be the county. Jason says the judges denied calling Hilton Love, but allowed the defense to question Woody about ex parte meeting. Okay, I mean, that would make sense because they proceeded with the trial. But what I'm trying to figure out is why is this Steele's modus operandi if it's not successful. Like if you have, because I don't see where, maybe he's had success with this somewhere, I don't know where, but what I'm trying to understand is, because to me it makes no sense. It makes no sense to put the district attorney or any of the assistant district attorneys on the defendant's witness list. So if that is not something that a defense attorney can accomplish, why do you keep wasting time? I would think that he would focus on something else that is probably much more likely to yield results for his client. I hate wasting time. So if a strategy does not work, I think you need to move on. But thank you for that, Jason.
Violating her oath of office. We want the Attorney General of the state to look at that.
Okay, so now this is going to send us down a rabbit hole. Now we need to go take a closer look at hold on. Now we're going to have to take I'm about to drop that. Going to have to take a closer look at this case.
News 4 Jax reporter Brittany Mueller was there as demonstrators
Is this
gathered
during
outside the
COVID?
Glenn County Courthouse and called for justice.
Several pastors and the family of Ahmaud Arbery say Jackie Johnson's actions and consistency and character in both the Arbery and
I'm
Adkins
so easily distracted. Like I was just looking at her thinking, oh, she's so cute. I'm really distracted.
case is the reason why they're calling on current district attorney Keith Higgins to launch a formal investigation.
I ain't scared to tell you. I'm Ahmaud Daddy. I'm not scared of you.
Ahmaud Arbery's father, Marcus, enraged with the sheriff,
You scared all these people up all these years, but I ain't.
calling out corruption that he says has been going on for far too long. When you
Yeah, this Jackie Johnson woman, I know these are allegations, but she should have left that alone. Okay, allegedly. She should not. There are certain things. Oftentimes, the cover up tends to be worse than the reveal. I am a proponent of just let things play out. Okay, don't try and cover things up because you dig deeper holes. All right. Okay, and then Jason says it was to get them off the case because they would be witnesses and couldn't be both, I believe. But it's not been successful, so why does he keep doing it? That's my question. And what would they even be testifying to? Like, maybe he's had success with, or maybe he got it from a CLE in I don't know what part of the country that could have been. But it just, I don't know. Let's see. I am puzzled because it's not going to be successful. So why are you pursuing avenues that are not going to be successful? Unless, if it's your paralegal typing it, then sure, whatever. But I'd also like to think that you would want your paralegal to be doing more meaningful work.
You saw Jackie Johnson turn herself in yesterday. What did that mean to you as Ahmaud Arbery's father?
It means a lot. That letting the world know
Okay,
how much wrong they've been doing, and it brings it closer to justice for my son.
6 days after an indictment handed down, Jackie Johnson surrendered. One of the charges, the violation of oath of a public officer in connection to the death of Arbery. Now, Pastor Pharrell Malone with the Kenneth Adkins Freedom Project says Adkins' conviction is another example of misconduct.
Jackie Johnson's entire conviction of Ken Atkins was based on the creation of a false timeline.
Former Pastor Adkins was arrested in 2016.
So, this Jackie Johnson. All right, let me let it go because I was gonna say something up here. Let me let the trial play out.
By GBI for child molestation and was indicted on 11 counts. He's 4 years into his 35-year sentence.
There is an injustice that has been consistent.
Okay, I'm gonna say part of what I wanted to say. All right, because if there is a race issue here, okay, then absolutely, her cases absolutely should be looked into. I mean, these allegations of corruption to an extent, though. So I don't know, shady character.
this district.
Adkins' attorneys filed for a motion for a new trial. Malone is calling on the current district attorney, Keith Higgins, to agree to that motion and drop the charges against Adkins. Do you think more cases will be looked into, as Jackie Johnson was the top prosecutor in this area for 10 years?
There are other cases that need to be looked at to show evidently, possibly, allegedly, a consistency of character.
Possibly, allegedly.
And character
Covering
is
his
who you
big
be.
Their goal, holding public officials accountable, case by case.
Jackie Johnson's defense attorney, John Osick, returned my calls. He says.
Okay, so she was represented by somebody else at this time in 2021. So we need to go look that man up too. John somebody.
He does not comment on his current cases. We'll keep you updated. Reporting from the Glen.
It's my type of defense attorney. Let's see, what are the comments saying? Okay. Oh, okay. I don't know. There's some stuff. There's always some stuff going on in Georgia, but okay, I guess everywhere else. So, all right. All right. Let's leave that alone. Let's move on here. Yeah.
The News4JAX I-team has been looking into Johnson's track record as the district attorney for 5 counties. She was their top prosecutor for a decade.
Wait, a district attorney in 5 different counties? What?
The News4JAX I-team has been looking into Johnson's track record as the district attorney for 5 counties. She was their top
But at the same time?
prosecutor for a decade. I-team investigator Vic Michelucci shows us how other attorneys have raised red flags long before the Arbery homicide.
Okay.
Jackie Johnson got international attention as the top prosecutor for the Ahmaud Arbery case, but she had been the district attorney in Southeast Georgia since 2010, when the governor of Georgia appointed her. During her 10 years in office, she was in charge of several high-profile cases, including some that are controversial. This cell phone video showing the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery caused outrage, coming out 2 months after Glenn County Police and then District Attorney Jackie Johnson decided to not charge the 3 men who chased him down. That ended up putting other cases she worked under the microscope. This 2010 video shows 2 Glenn County police officers shooting and killing Caroline Small after she led them on a chase. Cops had her car pinned and she was unarmed when they fired. Johnson presented the officer-involved shootings to a grand jury, but defense attorney Bill Adkins told the I-team she made several legal missteps.
I believe I watched
Johnson
this.
provided the officers' defense
Yeah, I
attorneys
watched
with
this.
evidence before she presented it to a grand jury. Johnson went before the grand jury without presenting an indictment, and she allowed defense attorneys to participate in the grand jury hearing by asking questions. No charges were filed against the officers.
She violated that plainly, unequivocally, and there was no consequence other than the fact that 2 men went free.
One of the officers, Corey Sasser, would later become a fugitive on domestic abuse charges. And in 2018, he killed his estranged wife and another man before turning the gun on himself. Another lawyer who questioned Johnson's legal practices was the district's former chief public defender, Kevin Goff, who says there were violations long before the Arbery case.
What about the thousands of other people who have been run through the criminal justice system?
All right. Well, I guess she's been shady boots from allegedly from the very beginning.
And the tens of thousands across the state. What's being done to make sure that these kinds of problems don't happen again?
So are you saying that you feel, in your opinion, that some defendants did not get a fair trial when Jackie Johnson was district attorney?
I have no doubt that defendants did not get a fair trial. I have no doubt that people that were innocent under the law went to jail. And, the sad thing is trying to figure out who they are is difficult.
The two sparred frequently in court. Goff was the court-appointed defense in the 2013 case where 2 teens killed 13-month-old Antonio Santiago while his mother was pushing him in a stroller. Goff says Johnson's indictment shows his complaints for years had merit, especially since the former police chief was also indicted in a subsequent corruption case.
I think that's a pretty damning indictment of the way law enforcement has been operating in Glynn
I
County
don't know. The whole place, they need to, I don't know, pressure wash the
for
place.
some time. So, it's troubling, and I'm sure the community is troubled by it.
Johnson blamed the controversy over Arbery's death for her election defeat last year. Independent candidate Keith Higgins collected thousands of signatures to get on the ballot and won. He's now the district attorney. I'm Vic Michelucci, Channel 4, the local station.
That's pretty insane that, after her alleged conduct, she would go on to seek re-election, with a hope that she'd actually win. It's insane. But okay, so most folks want her to be looked into, or at least her prior charges, her prior decisions. I mean, cases, not charges. Okay, all right. Let's leave that alone. Let's leave that alone. Okay, so let's see. How much time do we have? We have about 16 minutes. That's not enough to get into part of the trial. That's not enough time. Hold on. So we can kind of start. We can start. Oh, hold on. There's a video. Okay, that might be longer than 16 minutes. Let me find it. Let's see. I think it was Travis McMichael. We don't want closing. We want lawyer. Hold on. I think, which one was it? Where's the actual video? I don't want the shortened versions. I don't want to listen to CNN either. Let me see. Maybe that's all we have. That might be all we have. Okay. I just find a video here. Do you want to go with CNN Inside Edition? Inside Edition.
As America awaits a verdict in the Ahmaud Arbery trial in Georgia, there is backlash today over a comment that left a gasp in the courtroom. It happened when a defense lawyer said this about the slain jogger.
And honestly, that's why that's why this case, by this case, I'm really referring to the Johnson case, but we should not forget that the underlying facts are really Ahmaud's, the slaying of Ahmaud, right, by the McMichaels and their neighbor. So that's why the case is difficult. But again, I'm an avoidant type of person, but I don't know. Let me just play the video.
In his khaki shorts with no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails.
Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones,
We need
stormed out.
to go. Shout out to Ben Crump. We need to go to the actual. Do we have time? I guess we could get started.
The courtroom, and today she's denouncing the lawyer's remarks.
It was very, very disturbing. I thought it was very, very rude to talk about his long, dirty toenails and to totally neglect that my son had a huge hole in his chest where he was shot with that shotgun.
Right. I'm gonna play that again.
The lawyer's remarks.
It was very, very disturbing. I thought it was very, very rude to talk about his long, dirty toenails and to totally neglect that my son had a huge hole in his chest where he was shot with that shotgun.
It was so cruel and so inappropriate and really irrelevant to what is happening in this case.
Is she trying to make the case that because he has dirty toenails and long toenails, apparently too, that he's not really a runner?
You were there in the courtroom when this toenails comment was made. What was the reaction from Ahmaud Arbery's mother?
There was a gasp behind me from several members of Ahmaud Arbery's family. The mother of Ahmaud Arbery, she could not believe what she heard. She said, "I've got to get out of here." And she quickly, almost tripping over the legs of people, walked out of the courtroom. And it was...
I guess it's concerning. The district attorney questionable conduct, allegedly. The defense attorney, very questionable conduct. The witness that the defense called to the stand, the one that told herself not to be racist, definitely racist. The three individuals convicted of shooting down Arbery, definitely racist. There's something going on in that specific area or part of the country. So, and I mean, it's obvious what it is, but I don't know. I'm speechless.
It's just a moment where you could tell that those words hurt her deeply.
The father and son and their neighbor who say they tried to make a citizens of TV's The Bachelor.
And wait, what? What? I'm confused. What?
Went to the jury today.
Julia.
She's best known for this awkward moment when she was a contestant on TV's The Bachelor in 2015 and thought her name had been called during the rose ceremony.
Double embarrassing. Also, I can fix that.
And she's also remembered for the black bar.
Oh, no,
Jillian
who's
Anderson,
this person?
tells Inside Edition she's coordinating Carlson, aired last
I'm
night.
confused. Not this guy. Hold on. All right. So the case, obviously, the facts, the underlying facts are pretty disturbing, but we will, recap as much we'll cover as much of the groundwork as we can as we prepare for the January 21st trial of Jackie Johnson. We're going to pop into Flash a little bit. Hold on. We have like 9 minutes and then I need to go iron. I really do have to iron. So let's quickly see what Flash is up to.
You know why they cut the audio? Because they sitting there talking about what's
What is he
happening
talking about?
with no remorse. They don't even care. They know what they doing.
Oh, Jamarian. Just the end. What are they talking about? We have Survivor in here. Okay, so I think this is the Marcy Correctional Facility video. This is what it looks like. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop because you guys know I have a weak stomach. I have a weak stomach. Like I get queasy. I get queasy very easily. Okay. Brooklyn says, I have no idea why they had the Bachelorette on there. I have no idea. I mean, we could go back to the video to try and figure it out because I'm nosy, but can't do it. So all right, folks, we will reconvene here tomorrow. It's about an hour and a half. I think this is a good time to stop. So we will reconvene here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. You guys know I'm doing laundry. So that's it's probably going to be much later. Maybe around 10:30. I don't see myself. I mean, I could come on at 9, but if I come on at 9, I'm going to have to stop to, go put a load in the dryer or something. We'll see. I'll schedule the video in advance. Okay. I'll schedule the video in advance. And again, we're going to take a deeper dive into, the McMichael case. And then it's my hope to find the actual hearing, the December 11 hearing with Brian Steele. Okay. And then again, Jason, I'm going to have to take a look into that because that strategy, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems like a waste of time, especially if it's not been successful. And then let's see. All right. So we'll be talking about this case for quite some time. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I'm supposed to cover. The Marcy Correctional Facility case. Let's take a closer look at that when we actually have, some court proceedings, when we have something happening in court, be it civil rights or, wrongful death, you know, a civil case or criminal. That's when we can touch that. But videos like that, it's difficult for me. Difficult for me to watch. All right, so tomorrow we'll reconvene. I'll reschedule. I'll schedule in advance, but it's around 9, maybe 10. And then I believe, let me take a look at my calendar. Tomorrow is the 3rd. Let's see. What's going on? Why is this? Okay. So tomorrow is the 3rd, okay? And then the 10th, that will be my last Friday video. The weekend after, I'm not going to be doing videos on Fridays no more. That will be my day off. Okay, because I mean, I am up here. I'm up here almost even last night I came up here. Last night, this is when we're supposed to start with all of this, but bruh, my kid's room was a mess. I don't know how a kid that young, I guess it does make sense. Somebody that young will make a mess, yeah. But she had all types of random things. Like, it's not clay, it's I don't even know what texture that it's not clay. I don't know. She had something in there. She had something in there, but she vacuumed. I did not do the vacuuming. She vacuumed. I just moved stuff out of the way. But this weekend, we're gonna have to throw some stuff out. We have too many toys. We have too many clothes that we don't even wear. Maybe donate. The toys I'm probably gonna we'll see. Donate or throw out. My man doesn't want me to throw stuff out. He says donate. We'll see. We'll see. I don't want. I hate clutter though, but we'll work on that. But in any event, so January 10th, that will be my last Friday when I go live. Okay. I don't even know that I'll post a video. Maybe I'll have a video posted. But the weekend after, you guys, that's my birthday weekend. I'm so excited. That's my birthday weekend. But I'm also traveling with work. Okay. So that week is going to be a little tricky because I have to do CLE. CLE, continuing legal education. That's me educating myself. And then it's a conference. Okay. I'm not just on the internet gossiping. I actually do keep up with what is this? My education. So yeah. So that weekend of the 17th, I don't know that you guys are gonna get a video from me. I mean, the whole weekend, possibly all the way up to MLK. Okay. I don't know. I'll try and post some videos in advance, but we'll be driving. We'll be on the road and I'm working. So yeah, let me see. So Brooklyn says, did you see the Midas Touch Network last night? No, what happened? Let me go on there. I'll go on there. Let's see. I mean, I usually watch them on my phone. I watch them when I'm taking a shower, when I'm doing the dishes.
Mr. President, you're going to be at the end.
Hold on. Is that the live or just a regular video? Which video are you referring to? Oh, never mind. I think you're talking about the live with Poe Park and I saw Poe Park and Magnifilo. I forgot her name. I forgot her name. I watched part of this video, but if I remember correctly, I mean, I don't like messing with large networks because I don't even know. If I hold on, I'm just gonna click on it. If I remember correctly, right, as much as I watched, let me think back. What are they talking about? What were they talking about? I don't remember. I actually don't remember. I don't remember, but I tuned in for a little bit. Why? What happened? And then Jason says maybe for appeal, he thinks there's something there. I guess that makes. I'd say potential. I don't see how, but yeah, that could. You do make a valid point. I'll have to see it work in practice, though. So Brooklyn says with Karen Friedman, okay, Agnifilo. I watched part of that video. I tuned in briefly. I don't quite remember. I don't remember what they were talking about. What were they talking about? Let's see. Okay, I know about the E. Jean Carroll case. It's standing. Appeals court, they denied Trump, so I know it's standing. Let me see. Okay, I actually remember part of what the discussion was about. They talked a little bit about special counsel Jack Smith. The case in DC is kind of dead. As far as Eileen Cannon, the discussion was around the appeal, uh, because Eileen Cannon had ruled that special counsels are unconstitutional. That was, her way of trying to shelter Donald Trump from, um, really facing the music. But again, she was fed that mess by what's the guy again? Clarence Thomas. So I watched part of that. That's what I remember. I don't remember so much about Merrick Garland. And then I did not watch anything about TikTok. I don't remember what I was doing when I watched this, but I did. I watched part of this video. What did you want me to get from this, Brooklyn? Oh, okay. All right. So, okay. So was she going off? Like, I I personally like Michael Popak. Okay. I like him. He is a pretty bright attorney. And for folks that are not familiar with this channel, check them out. They covered a lot of the Funny Willis proceedings. Okay. They were, whenever I mention attorneys that thought she should not have recused herself or that she should not have been disqualified, it's these folks. They were not in agreement with that. They were against Fanny's recusal or her disqualification from the Trump case. But other than that, Popak very I know they're all. I don't remember an individual on this channel that I did not like. But my favorite folks on here, Popak and Mycelis. I forgot his first name.
Mr. President, you're going to be at.
I forgot his first name. Let me see. What is? He's the one that usually has all these videos up and stuff. I don't think, is he practicing anymore? Do you know who I'm talking about? Mycelis. Hold on. No. Okay, this guy I kind of cannot stand. I don't know his name. I just know that he used to be on the Young Turks. TYT. It's supposed to be a progressive group, but over the years, I don't really mess around with them that much anymore. Over the years, they have just become, that is not even progressive anymore. To me, at present, they appear to be an extension of the right wing branch of government. So I don't really mess with them. This guy, I guess, a lot of folks have disassociated from the Young Turks, and he was one of their guys. I don't really listen to him. Okay, that's Popak here. What's his name?
MAGA Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House, is furiously working the phones right now,
I know
trying
last
to
name
avoid
is,
being fired. There is
Mycelis.
a
I
vote
just
on
forgot.
Friday, January 3rd, about who will be the want MAGA Mike.
Oh, Ben. There we go. Ben. That's his name. Yeah, I like Ben and I like Popak the best. I also like when Benny's out there with his brothers, Jody or Jordy or whatever, and the other one I forgot. You guys know I'm terrible. I suck. I suck when it comes to names. I'm not my thing. Yeah, but I definitely like Ben. I like the women too. I think Karen is the only one that I really know. There's another woman that's out there with like beautiful hair and waves and whatever it is she does to her hair. I think she blows her hair out. I don't remember because they also have what legal AF. I forgot the lady's name. And I see recently
Illegal AFers in Midas.
Recently they have brought on two women. I think they're black. They might just be other brown folks, okay? That are doctors. They have talked a little bit about the Luigi case on here. I'm supposed to do a video on Luigi, but I just don't have space on my video on my device. I don't know. I cannot. I guess they don't include the host in these in the thumbnails. But yeah, pretty good channel. You guys should check them out. You guys should check them out. Okay, so Jason says that Trump can pardon himself in the Florida case. I think. Yeah, anything federal he can touch. The Georgia case he cannot touch. And that is what was so great, or that's why that specific case had so much potential. And I was absolutely upset. I was upset when, Fani decided to go bump coochies with Nathan Wade, and they pretty much sabotaged themselves. But that Georgia case had great potential because it's a state case, and there would have been no way around it. Besides, they had the evidence. So I don't know why on earth. I don't know. Human beings are something else. I lack of judgment. I have no idea. I have no idea. Okay. Brooklyn, you think TYT is left? Absolutely not. Are you saying TYT? No, they're not. Those people are definitely, I'm even calling them those people, a terrible way of describing them. Those individuals have become, they are right leaning at the moment. I used to be really into TYT back in the day. Now I'm just going on rants. I really need to go iron. But I really used to be into TYT around 2016, 2017, 2018. And then I stopped watching them. And then I suddenly, started following their content, or at least I tried to jump back into their content last year. And I just could not stand them. I could not stand them. They were, I had tuned in, and Anna was talking about, a black woman. I don't remember who it was, but she just set me off. You guys know I do not stand for the malignment of black women, even if it's love's crazy ass. But it's not my style. I don't roll like that. So yeah, I will go to TYT in a little bit, but I cannot stand. Not even that. They had Dr. Phil on there. I mean, I do watch Judy, and she's a little, she's a little, but I still watch her. Yeah, they had Dr. Phil on there. Their message has completely changed. Their views have completely shifted, and it's even apparent in the comments. So let's see. Oh, I cannot. Actually, that's who I cannot stand. I do not care for Michael. On that channel, I do not care for Michael. And, and my reason for not caring for him is because when it benefited him, he was so far up, Donald Trump's arse. And suddenly after he served time, that, it's a mea culpa, and he's suddenly this reformed guy that, he's on his high horse. He wants to be the one to criticize Donald Trump. I don't care for Michael Cohen. I just, no, I don't care for that man. Let's see. TYT. Oh, they're live right now. Oh no, they're live right now. I don't know why she's always wearing snake print. Like, what the fuck? All right, hold on. I know random. I just don't get it. Like, why is that a thing? Hold on. There's a governor, not a governor, a mayor out of North Carolina. I never know anybody's name. Mayor quit. There we go. Mondale Robinson. So, he's also suddenly criticizing TYT, even though he's I mean, there is a shift. I'm going to take that back, because there's for sure, there's a shift in TYT, but it's been a mess. It's been a mess out there. There was some other individual that quit. I think that was last year or something along those lines. But there has been a serious, there's been a shift out there. Okay. And they're definitely, let me just find a video. Let's go to TYT quickly. I know I should be ironing right now. I need to go. What are they talking about though? I'm
campaign
curious.
funds for personal uses. And I just find it interesting that this is the
John,
same
isn't
week
this
that we talked
John?
about, over in the Senate,
I saw
Kirsten Sinema.
Iadarola, somebody. Hold on. Let's find their videos. I don't even know. I don't really want to touch this New Orleans stuff. We need to find a video. Let's go back. Let's find a video. Something around election. So we're gonna have to go back all the way to November. We're gonna have to. Let's see.
Go fight.
He's always yelling. Here's somebody from 6 days ago. I won't be watching any more content with Jank or Anna. Blah blah. What's going on? I don't know what she did, but somebody said she's officially classified as not cute anymore. So let's see. Let's see. Okay, I don't know what on earth is going on. I'm not trying to get into no race debates on here. Okay, so some folks are saying that they are traitors and Trump lovers, good riddance, unsubscribe. But there has been let's see. Okay, going on about Donald Trump and right wingers, but there has been a definite shift. I do not consider that channel to I no longer consider them to be progressive or anything other than right wingers. That's just my personal opinion. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have read this message because I was just going on and on and on. Never mind. Okay, thank you, Jason. I thought he was talking about what is this? TYT being far left, because that is just not true. There's been a shift. Maybe once upon a time they were, but there has been a clear shift. And I don't want to say that they're grifters, but I am starting to believe that, because even this last presidential election, Cenk Uygur was running for president. He was on the Breakfast Club. He was on the Breakfast Club, and knowing very well that he does not even qualify to run for office in the United States, because he is not. I mean, he is an American citizen now, but he's not a natural born citizen. I don't know. The whole thing's just a mess. But I think, yeah, I'm starting to believe that they are grifters, so which I cannot get with. But okay, folks, enough ranting. It's like 10:43. It's, I should have been gone a long time ago. I should have ironed a long time ago. I probably would have been in bed, probably not asleep, but I would have been in bed. Okay, so we shall resume tomorrow, Friday. It's going to be around 9:30, 10 p.m., one of those times. And then again, we are taking a closer look at, the background to the Jackie Johnson trial, which is slated to begin January 21, 2025. I have to keep saying 2025. But okay, so that's about 3 weeks away. If there are any other trials that you are interested in, let me know. Obviously, we're going to carry on with, once we get to February, we're definitely going to keep up with, the second round of YSL trials, if the trial actually does proceed. For March, there was somebody on for March. I don't remember. There's some trial. I don't think that's Massachusetts. I don't think that's Karen Reed. Is Karen Reed March or is it April? I don't remember. But I think these next 3 weeks would be great for us to get up to speed. But the case that I'm most interested in, there's actually two cases that I'm most interested in. I'm going to have to say the Idaho case, Brian Koberger. That's an interesting case. Okay, that's an interesting case. That's one we're definitely going to have to take a look at. And I think next week or the week after would be a good time for us to also, do some of that background work. The defense attorneys in that case have been working pretty hard. Okay. You guys know, if you don't know, I am absolutely against the death penalty. Okay. Not against it. Nobody can convince me otherwise. I once upon a time considered moving to Texas in order to do death penalty cases, but I'm glad I don't live in Texas. All right. So, let's see. Yeah, so we want to take a closer look at that. Sometime in, I think it was, I want to say December, it may have been late November. Brian Koberger's attorneys have been very hard at work. They filed several motions. There were, motion hearings in court. So we're going to dig into those. Yeah, we're going to dig into those next week or the week after. Probably those will be some of my pre-recorded videos because there'll be a weekend when I'm not really available. Okay. And then let's see. So that Brian Koberger case, I'm interested in that case. And I'm also interested in the YNW Melly case. I'm interested in it just because it's a retrial. Retrials do tend, after a mistrial, retrials do tend to favor, they do tend to favor the prosecution. And I mean, as far as YNW, I want to say YFN, but that's completely different. That's a different part of the country. So the YNW Melly case is really going to be interesting because as far as the first go around, he got lucky with jury selection. So he really got lucky with jury selection because there was one juror that was, set on acquittal, and she was able to convince two other jurors to join her. And that is really what jury deliberations are about, right? Her ability to convince two other folks to join her, leading to a deadlock. Okay. And then again, we distinguish between factual truth and substantive truth because criminal law has never been concerned with factual truth, and it will never be concerned with factual truth. Even we have to keep that in mind, even as we head into this Jackie Johnson trial on January 21st. Okay. All right, folks, enough rambling. I'm going to call it quits here. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be doing my laundry tomorrow, but I'm also going to be on YouTube. All right. Love you guys. Jason, Brooklyn, thanks for, hanging out with me. Allie, Jasmine. All right. Shout out to all my co-counsels. Shout out to the replay crew. I'm really going. Okay. I'm because I just do not stop talking. So I'm gonna end the stream right here. All right. Love you guys. Bye.